People of interest have big visions. People are naturally attracted to people doing big things. It's why people are so attracted to Elon Musk, right? Because he's always doing something big and crazy. I don't know of another person that signed $1 trillion contract.
It's not about becoming the person who can scale a business. It's becoming the person who has the ability to lead an organization to scale a business. People follow people with specialized skills of having a big vision and having remarkable boldness to be able to
Yes.
move forward in a direction. That's what people are attracted to when you're trying to grow an organization.
Thank you guys for joining us today. I know we've got some visitors here for the first time, and we want to welcome you to this series that we do. And Jason and I, we're going to break down what the Greatness Lab is today and what we do every month. But one of the things we do is we do coaching and mentoring and strategic coaching for people who want to build, grow, scale, and exit their financial services firm. And this thing is growing very rapidly, and we want to basically coach you today on how to become an advisor of influence. And I'm excited about this because many years ago, I wrote a book called Person of Interest. It's actually probably less than, I don't know, 6 or 7 thousand words, but that little book sold more copies for me than almost any of the other books, the other 23 books. And it's because I do think we have a desire, people have a desire to be known in the world. I think they have a desire to become somebody in the world. And I actually believe that the more known you are, the more opportunities you get. Okay. So today we're going to break down what is a person of interest. We'll also talk about what's the difference between a person of interest or advisor of influence and an advisor of power and influence, which is a little bit of a difference there. We'll look at the ingredients of an advisor of interest. And then we'll kind of move into how do you package your intellectual property, which is your know-how and your demonstrated capacity, and share that with the world. Okay. And what's going to happen when you share it with the world is there's going to be more incoming deal flow for you. Instead of chasing or being the seller, you're going to actually convert to the buyer. And I actually believe the buyer has an advantage sometimes over the seller in some situations because the buyer has the resources. So how do you become the buyer versus the seller, where you're just trying to sell people what you have? And let's flip that paradigm to where people are actually calling you and they're actually saying, how do I be in business with you? How do I join you? How do I, right? And then we're actually going to show you how to monetize all of this. So Jason, to kick us off today, why don't you explain? We always like to start off by explaining what the Greatness Lab is. And Jason is getting very, very skilled at this because this is probably the thousandth time that I've asked him to,
Yeah,
to explain what the Greatness Lab is. But listen, the more repetition people understand it and hear it, the more people are like, okay, I totally get it. This is what it is. So why don't you explain to people what the Greatness Lab is?
Well, the Greatness Lab is a concept that Coach and I came up with, built upon me walking into this amazing experience at the Greatness Factory and thinking, wow, this is cool. And at the center of it, the center of all success is that people in general need a coach in life. They need a mentor. Tiger Woods needs a coach. I think he needs a driving coach now.
Or a driver.
Michael Jordan needed a coach, and everybody needs a coach. And what a coach allows you to do is to be able to see the world in a different light, and to give you new information that you can use in order to be able to scale, grow, and exit your business, particularly when it comes to financial services. So we wanted to build at its core, an IMO, which is an insurance marketing organization, a broker-dealer, which allows you to affiliate with a broker-dealer, and an insurance agency that you are able to affiliate with, not having to say, hey, I want you to be recruited over or sell your business and move 4,000 accounts to us. We don't care about that. What we care about is providing maximum amount of value to help you on your terms, to serve your clients, and to grow your business in the way that's going to help you build, scale, and exit. We have found over the years is that when we start out in the business, we're dependent. We're the Ameriprizes of the world, or the or Morgan Stanleys of the world. We're told what we can do and what sandbox we play in, and we don't like it. So therefore, what we do is a lot of times as people, is we go independent where there's no rules, as much as limited restrictions that we possibly can, and independent becomes alone. And alone becomes limiting in your beliefs and your ability to scale and grow. And what the Greatness Lab really is focused on is interdependence, where together, not being alone, on your terms with your clients, with coaching from us, we're able to help you go. If you're a $500,000 producer, how do you go to 2 million? If you're a $2 million producer, how do you go to 20 million? If you're a $20 million producer, how do you go to 50 million? And my challenge to everybody is here is unless you know somebody who's done it and has had or received coaching from that person, you may never figure out how to get it. And
Yep.
what we have the ability to do is because we've done it, is show you how to do it in a unique way without locking you into big contracts to do so. So that's a little bit. Back to coach.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm actually coaching an agent today that's earning about 1.5 million and who's here at the Greatness Factory and but he's only using one strategy. He's not even tapped into the person of interest strategy. He's using one strategy to produce that. He's 38 years old. He's making $1.5 million a year. This is a very skilled person. He's not really clear in what his primary skill is. He just knows that he's good at certain things, but he can't really articulate that. And so very quickly with coaching, Craig, we could move this dude to 5 million a year if we add strategy and structure and infrastructure and people. Like this is a guy who could be making 5 million a year at 40 years old, by the way. Okay. So it's not that he doesn't want to do it, he just doesn't know how to do it. Okay. So it's really the Greatness Lab could come around this person and go, okay, we can add this, and this. And the next thing you know, and one of the strategies would be helping you become an advisor of influence, or what I call a person of interest. Okay. And so let's get into this. Um, when you think about a person of interest, an advisor of interest, I want you to think for a second in your mind about someone that you find and you go, that's kind of a fascinating person. Okay. They most likely have a fascinating skill set. They hang around other fascinating people. They do fascinating things. And you're looking at them like, man, that is an interesting person. Okay. And I want you to think for a second, what about that person makes them interesting? Okay. What attracts you to them? See, when I wrote this book, I wrote it out of a problem that I had. And the problem was that I felt like I was chasing business, not attracting business. And so I remember something the great Jim Rohn said. He said, to attract other people, we must become attractive. And I thought, okay, what makes a person attractive? Not just in their how beautiful they are, or how handsome they are. It's really in certain ingredients that they have that we want. It's like you look at that person and you go, man, I wish I had what that dude had. That dude's got great connection skills and he's got great this. So I actually started studying people of interest in the world and I began codifying what these people had that we wanted. Okay. Now, here was an example. I was in a coaching program at this time. We were all probably paying $10,000 to $25,000 to be in that program. You had to earn a certain amount of income to be in that program. But we didn't, Jason, we didn't get the main guy. We got another guy. And one time I was there and I was probably 35 years old. And they said, hey, the main guy's going to be here. And you would be shocked what people did. They set up, they pulled out their pens. They said, I'm ready to learn from the master. And I started asking, what does this dude have that we would fly around the country to see? We would pay this much money to be in a room with him. What does he have? And I drew a little stick man. If you see it in my notes here, I drew a little stick man like this. And I go, okay, this is what this guy has. Okay, so we're going to go through the ingredients. And I'm going to ask Jason to add some color to this from the advisor world. Okay, this person had specialized knowledge. So I want you to think specialist, not generalist. Generalists make general money. Specialists make specialist money. think heart surgeon versus general practitioner. Now, you may say, well, I thought I could sell various products, and you can't. That's not what I'm talking about. You may be a specialist at connection. You may be a specialist at articulating value. You may be a specialist at lowering walls of resistance. You may be a specialist at recruiting or convincing people to come over to your team. You may be a specialist, in Jason's case, of recruiting, training, developing, or building something for scale and exit. Okay. So don't think I'm just a specialist at selling a product. I want you to think I have a very specialized skill like a Navy SEAL, not a baby seal. Okay. So, Jason, when you think about people of interest, because you're running in circles of interesting people, and right, it's like you'll tell me, hey, I flew with this person, and that's an interesting person. And what do you think about when it comes to this specialization of skill? When you think about people of interest?
Well, I think in the financial advisory business or the insurance agent business, and if I think of somebody with skill, the most specialized skill is their ability to recruit, train, and develop leaders that can
Yes.
recruit, train, and develop leaders that can recruit, train, and develop leaders. Ultimately, the mind switch is we're in the distribution business, and our product is advice or product that serves the client's needs at the highest level. And the bigger the impact that you can make is dictated upon the amount of folks that you can be able to deliver your value proposition. So people that have a specialized gift in doing this are hard to come by, right? There's not many people that know how to do this effectively. And the only way to really gain that knowledge is either to tap into somebody else who has it or get some coaching or a combination of the two to get it.
So I want to go back to something because you got a new book coming out that's launched, and it's really this is something that is a nuance I don't want you to miss. Okay. You have to become the leader. You have to see yourself as a leader who is skilled at recruiting, training, and developing people. Is that kind of how you say it? And that's kind of what the book is about
Yeah.
as well.
Well, the book, I say it a little differently. The book basically says after you read it, it says it's not about becoming a person who can do a business, scale a business. It's becoming the person who has the ability to lead an organization to scale a business.
Yeah.
Right. And most people they define themselves in their own limiting capacity, which doesn't give that specialized skill. And it starts with what you say to yourself and how you think through the way to grow the business. I interviewed a financial advisor the other day, and I said to him, I was like, how do you get your business from 800,000 to 5 million? And we were just having this conversation. He said, what I'm looking for is a boutique financial advisory business for ultra high net worth clients. And, ultimately that's okay. That's a great business, but it's hard to get a boutique business to do $5 million a year or $10 million a year because boutique would insinuate small.
Yes.
It's also hard to get people attracted to somebody that wants to build a business. They're defining it by the size of it, meaning they want it to be boutique. People follow people with specialized skills of having a big vision.
Yes.
And having remarkable boldness to be able to
Yes.
move forward in a direction. That's what people are attracted to when you're trying to grow an organization.
Okay. Now you said something right there because we'll get into that in just a little bit. People of interest or advisors of interest and influence have big visions. They got big missions. They don't have small missions. Okay. People are naturally attracted to people doing big things. That's why people are so attracted to Elon Musk, right? Because he's always doing something big and crazy. I don't know of another person that signed $1 trillion contract. I mean, it's like that's impressive. If you went back and studied his life, he did, it was tough life, man. He went to Canada. He didn't know any of his family members. He had them on a piece of paper by himself as a kid. I mean, he didn't just wake up one day. I mean, it was like he really worked at this. So number one, we kind of have a um, specialized skill. Number two, let's think of specialized knowledge. Let's think of a knowledge set that you have that people of interest have is they really know how to do something other people don't know how to do. They have let's call it a demonstrated capacity. Okay. Let's call it a demonstrated capacity. Now, where do you get that knowledge from? It comes from the mentors you study under, the both formal and informal education that you have, the past experiences that you've created. Now, let me give you an example. My knowledge set, I like to say, is very limited. It's very specific to building competitive intelligence in people, getting activating prey drive in people. I have actually taken that to a bigger arena, saying I can activate brands, I can activate people, I can activate businesses, and I do that through a flywheel of momentum that I've created. Okay, so look at how I took the skill set, a knowledge set of competitive intelligence. I trademarked those two words, and I'm a specialist at building competitive intelligence, which is the know-how of how to win. Then I've taken it to going, okay, I'm a specialist at I have a knowledge set of activating things, dormant, latent brands, new businesses, businesses that have stagnated, okay, or they're trying to do something really big. That's a very specialized knowledge. And I always joke and say I can't cook. I'm not very good geographically. I can't fix a car. I was raised by a single mom. She never taught me how to fix things around the house. There are things I am terrible at. But when it comes to activating things, I can do that. Okay. So, Jason, when you think about an advisor that has a knowledge set, okay, I think your knowledge set, you have a deep knowledge set of products, how it works. Specifically, what I notice about you is the monetization of this, right? Like I see you coaching a lot of people and how they can earn more income that they're not even thinking of, how to position the products, how to talk about it. What do you think the specialized knowledge is?
Well, I think to demonstrated capacity, first of all, you need to be able to have demonstrated capacity by executing. A lot of people, you have to do something in order for people to pay attention, and you have to do it exceptionally well, whether that's having the most amazing client service results and letting people know that that's the case, or if it's developing people and building and scaling the business, or if it's doing seminars or having a radio show or writing a book, and this is sort of your flywheel. But
Yeah,
you need to have some demonstrated capacity where you could look at it and say, look at what I did. I have a big vision and I've done great things.
yeah,
And if you don't have a big vision and you haven't done great things yet, what we're going to do is pick one that we're going to go do really well that we could demonstrate. I did it and it worked this well. Think about, Coach and I have a program that we created called the annuity operating system.
yeah,
We did $600 million in annuities as a business last year. That doesn't count the 11,000 financial plans and all the assets under management. That was just through our IMO. And we have a demonstrated capacity to show other people how to do it.
yeah,
Right. So we have a program that we invite people to. They can come to it, and we'll teach them exactly how. In 9 years, we built a business that could do 600 million in annuities. Right.
yeah,
So that is a demonstrated capacity. It's a result that I can lean on and say, if you come and do this, right, for your clients, if you said, look, I have a demonstrated capacity to be able to reduce taxes by 35%. And if you could show that in a number of ways and package that in a number of ways, or I help small businesses get large exits, right?
yeah.
I help medium to large size businesses, get large exits. That's your demonstrated capacity, and you can show that you did it with a big vision. That's how you become more of a person of interest.
Now, also notice that I believe in giving everything a unique name, taking your skill set and your knowledge set and giving it a unique name. Okay. That way, because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, those 26 letters produce millions of words. Okay. But something becomes valuable to other people when you name it. Okay. So with Jason, it's like, okay, we need to give it a name for this. And he came up with the AOS, the annuity operating system, $600 million system. Now we can say to people, hey, come and learn this system. If you've not done 600 million in annuities, come and learn this system. When I name the Greatness Factory, people come to the Greatness Factory and they go, this is so much cooler. It's just an office complex. Okay. But because I gave it a cool name and we positioned it, now it makes it more valuable. So I really encourage you, think I trademark a lot of things, especially if it's a name that I think this is really cool and this could be worth millions of dollars. Let's claim the rights to this. Okay. Greatness Factory, Prey Drive, Everybody needs a coach in life. These are phrases that I came up with that we name. So you take your specialized knowledge, your specialized skill, and you name it. That way you can say to people, based on my unique past and my unique experiences, I'm really a specialist at X. Okay. Like I see Ian on here. I love the name The Financial Gym. I think it's a cool concept. Yeah. It's a catchy concept. I get it. It's a great, and that's the first thing I told him. I said, man, I love the name. Okay. It's very hard to sell a bad concept. Okay. Or a bad name. All right. Number three. So we got specialized knowledge. We've got specialized skill or impeccable skill. Third thing most people of interest have is they really do have what I call prey drive, a very high degree of prey drive. Okay. When they ask Bezos why he invests in companies, one of the things he always says is, I like to look into the eyes of the entrepreneur. And I'm really betting on that person and that business. And I can tell if they have the prey drive it takes or they don't to see something through to its conclusion. Like, can I count on this person? Will they show up? Will they be reliable? Will they do what they said they're going to do? Can they see something through to its conclusion? I have never, John Hart, met a lazy person of interest. Okay. I've never met now they may work at different paces. They may work at different hours. They may have a different rhythm, but I very seldom meet a lazy person of interest. They have some type of killer instinct, some type of initiative to pursue something. So third ingredient is prey drive. Jason, what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, you just got to go get it every day. People always say, if you want something done, go to the busiest person that's the most successful to get it done. They can deliver upon it.
Yes.
You don't you want to not get something done. Get somebody who wants to think small, be small, and do small, and isn't willing to put in the hours and the time that it takes.
Yeah.
Right? People respect the fact that people grow. I had the opportunity to meet, as you know, Grant Cardone. He tried to rent my house.
Yeah.
One of the things I really appreciate about him and yourself, right, is that you work like an animal.
Yeah.
These guys work way harder than I do,
Yeah.
right? Because there's no limitations to what they're not willing to do in order to build and scale and grow their business. And you have to have it if in fact that you want to make it to become a person of interest. Not forever, right? Once you become that person of interest and you have the business that you want, then you can scale that back.
When you think about, here's a question you may have gotten before. Why didn't when you sold a percentage of your company, was there any part of you that said, man, I'm just gonna cash it in, take a break, walk on the beach? Or was your immediate instinct to let me go do it bigger and better? What was the immediate instinct when you sold?
Well, I wanted to go walk on the beach. Take some, no,
You
I'm just
did.
no, 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 no. I did. Craig is like, yeah, you did. I know you did. Uh,
Yeah.
it almost worked the opposite, Coach. When I sold the business, which I would tell you today, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have done it because I was at that place where the hockey stick was about to go up,
Yeah.
and I was working so hard for what was considered to be a long time that in my mind I was like, I'm going to take a check and I'm going to ride this out so that in 5 years I can leave and go out into the sunset.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward 3 years later, the business tripled in size. I actually worked less and less. And last summer, what I was, I learned how to play golf and I went to Pilates 3 days a week and then went and played golf and night. And I got to play golf at a private country club with really nice people. And I thought to myself, I'm no way near ready for this. It wasn't, it was all it was wrapped up to be. And I went back at it. We started 7 businesses since then, including the Greatness Lab, bought a restaurant, building a restaurant, started a property and casualty company, a real estate development company. And today I'm still not working as hard as I was back then, as that 5 years ago, but my demonstrated capacity to be able to do more as we've grown and scaled is actually gotten easier. I think a lot of times people think that the bigger they get, the harder it is, and it's actually the opposite.
Yep.
It's actually the opposite. The bigger you get and the better you learn how to become the person that can lead people, the easier the business gets.
Well, you like that word demonstrated capacity is a really good two words to lock into because you're going to become known for something on planet Earth. Okay. People are going to think of you in a certain way. The question becomes, what do you want to be known for? And how do you engineer that? Is it you just kind of you do something and then you're known for this, or it's like Tony Giarratana. So one of our friends, Jason, interviewed him. He's known for this incredible architect in Nashville, this incredible developer that builds these, and everyone is better than the last one, right? No matter how over the top one is, the next one is bigger and cooler and better. And it's like people know him as this one of the top developers in the United States. Okay, so what are you going to be known for? Okay, what is your demonstrated capacity? Okay, now let's move from, so now we got specialized skill, we got kind of a impeccable knowledge or some type of knowledge, we got a big prey drive. Ingredient number 4 is contagious confidence that we want to convert to remarkable boldness. Okay, so people of interest have a confidence that many times converts at some point along the way to boldness. And there is a difference between these two. Confidence is a memory of success. Okay. Boldness is striking fearlessness. So I think of boldness when I'm around people who've done really big things in the world. Here's what I think. They have a lot of psychological flexibility, which means they have the willingness to move towards something, even if they don't know if it's going to work out or not. Okay. So this is boldness. Okay. So Jason, let's talk about this one for a second. And why are we attracted to people who are bold, right? Who have this remarkable boldness about them?
Why are we attracted to them is because I think as people, I think Tony Robbins said this, we like people that we like. I mean, we get along with people we like, or we like people that we want to be like.
It's good.
When we see people that are doing things that we would like to be like, we're naturally attracted to those people. And from remarkable boldness, I just opened a restaurant. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I go in every day and I go, I just want you to know, I tell the staff, I go, I have no business running a restaurant or being an operator of it. I know nothing, but I know one thing is I want to win a Michelin star.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want the restaurant to win a Michelin star. And that if you have a big vision for yourself, if you want to be the number one financial advisor in your state, if you want to be the most sought after person online, if you want to be the number one insurance agent, the largest provider of the biggest AUM, you want to be Ron Carson if you're a financial advisor, right? Or if you want to be John Hance, right? These are the big dogs. Well, first I got to put it out there and say, this is what I want. And I want people to help me get there and get them into a room and start working really diligently at doing it. Be bold, put out a big vision, spend time doing it, but make it big.
I've got a buddy named Chuck Mcdowell who's probably got about 125, $130 million company helping people get out of timeshares. You probably heard him on the radio. If you ever listen to the radio, he's got this raspy voice, this country boy from Tennessee, and he'll send me messages just out of the blue and he'll say, be bolder. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm as bold as you are, Chuck, right? But he'll roll up in his Rolls Royce, that's customized on the inside with gold chain on, and it's wearing his Prada shoes. It's crazy. Like this is a country boy from Middle Tennessee, and it's. But he'll say, "Be bolder." Okay. To me, I just committed to doing another Greatness Factory about 15 or 20 minutes from here. And my wife asked me, she's like, what do you do? What do you do? Like, why would you do that? And I said, well, I got a goal to have 50 of these. Like I can't have 50 if I don't have two. And this one's different than the first one. And you pull up and you park and it's got offices and this one's got a bar in it. And this one's got a library in it. And it's different. And it's going to be, I'm like, this is just part of a bigger vision. She's like, well, how are you going to make it work? And I said, I'll make it work. And she's like, well, how are you going to make it work? And I said, I hadn't figured all that out yet. I got 9 months until it's built out, right? Like I'll figure it out. And if nothing else, I put 9 salespeople in the offices and they turn around and sell things. Surely to goodness we can find $21,000 a month, right? Out of this place. So boldness sometimes is we're burning the ships. Forget about it. We're making it happen. Okay. So I just really want to encourage you there. Okay. Let's move to connection. If you study the top 1% of performers. They have tremendous connection skills, and they work hard at connection. They stay in a flow and rhythm with people. I remember having dinner with Josh Altman, who you would see on Million Dollar Listing LA here in Nashville. And the dude's doing billions of dollars of real estate every year. First thing I noticed about him is I liked him. He had incredible energy. You could talk to him. When he left, I go, I love that dude. First time I've ever met him. So when you think about connection, I want to use a word here that Wallace D. Wattles used in The Science of Getting Rich, and it's called the impression of increase. People of interest give off an impression of increase. When you're with them, you want to do bigger things. When you're around them, you want to do bigger things. When you're around them, your limitations are lower. So what does that make you want to do? Be around them more. How do I spend time with these people? How do I stay in their flow and rhythm? And so what happens is people say, can I take you to dinner? Can I buy you lunch? Can I take you to coffee? Can you be part of this deal with me? Right? Because you're kind of putting out a frequency that says, when I'm with you, I feel better about me. And I think bigger and I play bigger. And this is the concept of Greatness Lab. When you're with us, you're going to play bigger. You're going to think bigger. You're going to perform bigger. It's aspirational environment. So talk about that one for a second, Jason, and just the impression of increase.
Yeah, Coach, we've said this, and I've said this. I don't know where I got it, but 50% of my success came from me. I brought something to the table, and 50% of my success had to do with the team that I played for.
Yeah.
For the first 25 years of my career, I played on good teams. I learned great skills, but I would have never been able to build the business had I not left those and surrounded myself with somebody who was more talented. So, and that's a really, really important thing. Talent is a subjective thing. What a lot of times people do is they view talent and say, well, that person's really talented, but I can't do that. So they say, or even worse,
Yeah.
they look at that person who's very talented or has done great things and they say, I'm not willing to do what it takes, or that's not the type of business that I would want to run. And that limiting factor that you put on yourself will keep you from becoming the level of business that you're able to grow. And when you stop doing that, and when you surround yourself with better people, not better people, but better performing people that have done bigger things, and you have an open mind and you seek to try to figure out what they did and how it actually works, you'll end up finding yourself going in a different direction. So today in my life, Coach knows this, I could have retired 5 times over. Today, I'm trying to look at this thing and say, I'm not ready to retire yet. What I've noticed and what part of the Greatness Lab has been able to do is that the next level of this is mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
So I've gone from building a business and scaling a business to now to say, great, how do I buy businesses and roll them up, right? And you should ask yourself that same question. How is it that you could do mergers and acquisitions? And who can help you do that? And where are those people that can help you do that?
Yeah. And, I think of a young guy that's in the Greatness Lab with us who's out there every day talking to businesses, insurance business, financial services business. Some of them are great. Some of them are just getting started. But every day the dude's trying to find businesses to be involved in. And that's prey drive. Now, when you think about impression of increase, I was thinking about this concept of impression of increase, and I had a hard conversation with a guy this morning that's got a $20 million business, and he's got some very average people around him. And he didn't want to tell them that he committed to some coaching with me, and then he come back and he said, well, I don't know if I can get full buy-in from them to do the coaching. And I like to say this, guys, and this was the prey drive in me. I said, can you put me on the phone with the person who's in charge of your company? Which always really pisses them off. They're like, what do you mean I'm in charge? And I go, apparently you're not in charge because you can't make a simple decision that your people are going to be involved in training. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think trained people outperform untrained people? Yes. Okay. Are you in charge of this company? Yes or no? Okay. If they're going to work at that company, then they need to be involved in development and growth. Are they deciding or are you deciding? So apparently you're not in charge of your company. Now, when you think about this, here's what I had to say to him that was tough. I said, you're never going to get to $100 million with that team. Any way you look at it. They cannot get you to $100 million. Okay. Either they got to get better or you got to get better people. It's that simple. If you read Kenny Chesney's book, it was really one of the top producers in Nashville who said to him, "You're never going to make it big with that band. I know they were with you on the way up. I know they played every little bar with you. I know they're your buddies from East Tennessee, but you'll never be a major star unless you get a better band." Now, to his credit, he fired all those people and he got a better band. And then the producer came back and said, "Kid, I didn't think you had the guts to do it, but you did it. Now look at him," right? So when you think about it, Jason said, "I was on good teams. I learned great skills during that period, but I could not get, I wrote down to the big table. I could not get to a bigger table in that environment." Does everybody see that? You could be the right person in the wrong environment. You could have great skills in the wrong environment. You could stay small forever. You could have a one-person shop forever until you bolt onto something. Okay. All right. So let's move to the packaging of your skills. So we got specialized knowledge, kind of a specialized skill. We got a lot of prey drive. We got confidence that converts to boldness. We've got incredible connection skills. But could you be a secret, have all of those things and be a secret agent? Yes or no? You could be. You could be. And it's called Shihan's Wall. Shihan's Wall is an imaginary line between people who are known and people that are unknown. On the unknown side, you're highly talented, but you're unknown in the world. Nobody knows you have these skills. You're obscure, which means not in plain sight. Okay. To go across the wall to become known in the world, then we have to have a hard skill and we got to beat the drum on that skill to where we become known for something. Everybody hear me on that, okay? So here's the formula that I want you to write down. And you're actually seeing us do this in the Greatness Lab. The formula is we find our X factor. That's what makes us unique. We package our X factor. Packaging is anything the consumer can feel, touch, taste, or see. Like this is a form of packaging right here. We can chop this up, put it on social media, send it out to various things, right? We can put it in front of 2 million people. We got to package the intellectual property into something people can absorb. Okay. Then we need to market the X factor, which is what we're doing with the Greatness Lab. We're doing events, podcasts, StreamYard, speaking engagements. Right? Every time Jason goes and speaks on the Greatness Lab in front of people that are true economic buyers, people that could join us, then those people go, "Man, I need to be a part of that. Man, I need to be part of that. I need to be part of that." That is marketing. Speaking is a form of marketing. Everybody with me? Okay. Even if you get paid to speak, it's still a form of marketing. And I'd rather have the people than the money many times. So if a person says, "I'll bring an audience of 500 people, but we got a small budget," I go, "I'll take it. I'll take it." You know why? Because I'd rather have the 500 people. We can make a lot more than the speaking fee with 500 people. Okay. And then the fourth piece is the monetization of your reputational capital. So how do you build reputation in the market? You package your intellectual property and you share it and you share it and you share it, just like we are right now. And you share it and you share it and you share it till people go, "Oh, they're really good at that." And you become known for that. Now, where there's no invitation, there's no monetization. So you have to invite people to something, or you're just having conversations every day. Okay? So we want to take a conversation and convert it to a conversion. Okay? So we invite people, join the Greatness Lab. Come in just for the coaching, and you can pay to just get the coaching, or you can come in and join us. Right? You can come underneath us. You can be part of what we're doing as a platform company. You can grow, build, grow, scale. So Jason, talk about those four parts: find, package, market, monetize.
Well, everybody on this call is basically living that. And this is something that for me and my coaching, right, comes from Coach Burt. And when we went on this partnership and this journey together, I got to see it take action. And I will tell you candidly, it's very uncomfortable. for those of you folks who have never done it. It's actually pretty comfortable today because we do it all the time. But when we first started doing it, it's literally weekly events, quarterly in-persons. It's the recruiting events, there's coaching events. Sometimes this week there's 3 events that him and that coach and I have, and then I'm going to the same speaking engagement he is as a fourth event. This is all in this week. And partially, if you said this to me 6 months ago, would I be able to fit that into the capacity of what we're doing today? I would have probably said, I'm not sure. But when you plan it out, right? And it starts with saying, okay, all of you on this call have an X factor already. You have a practice, you serve clients, you have a specialty, you all have it. I know Craig has done a great job of building his business on a local platform in the Medicare and financial services space. Does a great job, makes great money, right? And now is trying to figure out now you just got to package that, but you have to start to say, how do I do that on a grander scale? What are we going to label? How are you going to label something and package it and send it out? And you got to constantly have an events calendar that's going on for the next 12 months of what you're going to be doing every single week, and inviting as many people as you possibly can. I think a lot of you folks, you saw just the ad that we ran. It was specifically on Facebook to financial advisors. We had over 30 people just from the last week sign up to be able to come to this event. Some of them are going to get recordings, some of them are not. Some of them went to the website, you checked it out, where there's no invitation, there's no monetization.
Yep. So you could talk to people all the time. You could put content out there, but until you have something to invite people to, what is your offer, right? I come from a coaching background, and it's like, what do we want people to do? We want them to do a strategy call. We want them to come to an event. We want them to get activated. We want them to talk to me. We want them to enroll in something. Okay. So a lot of people are good at conversing. They talk to people. They talk to people. They talk to people, but they never convert people to something. Okay. What I'm finding is with the Greatness Lab, it's an easy invitation. It's like you're here and you've been doing this for 5 years. You have a demonstrated capacity, but for some reason you've stalled, or your growth is limited, or you have some constraining factors. And by joining us, we're going to help solve a lot of those problems, get you to a seat at a much bigger table. And people are like, I'm open to that. I've been looking for a seat at a bigger table. Okay. Now let's move to the final piece, and then we'll take a few questions. And these kind of come in fours when I'm teaching person of interest, advisor of interest. Most people of interest have a message. Okay, I was out this morning. I walk around my subdivision and I do videos. People tell me they love those videos for some reason. I don't know why. It's just me out in the morning at 6:30, and I pull up my camera and I do a little 3-minute video and I put it on Facebook, and I start off and I have a belief statements, and I believe everybody needs a great coach, and I believe people are looking for a seat at a bigger table. And today I'm going to talk about this one thing, right? Most people of interest have a message. Okay. What is that message that you want to say to the world? Think of an artist has a number one hit. Think of in the book world, we write books. So we have a message that we share with the world. And I can kind of lock into that message and go, man, I agree with that, or I don't agree with it. I align with it, or I don't align with it. I believe in it, I don't believe in it. Most big time people position by concept. Okay. By concept. Okay, so number one, they got a message. Number two, they got a big mission. It's never just about them. It's never just about making it through the day. It's never just about complaining and whining. It's always we're doing something bigger. Got a big mission. Number three, people of interest have a lot of movement. A lot of movement. A lot of movement. So they're moving about the planet. Right? They're meeting people, right? This is why I actually love, Cardone's Undercover Billionaire. If I ever get down, I'm like, okay, the dude went to Pueblo, Colorado. He had $100. He had 90 days to build $1 million business. He took the $100 and put it in the bank, which is fascinating to me. He didn't even use the $100 they gave him. And he said, I don't need the money, I need people. And he went and formed a strategic partnership with a guy in that city. And in 90 days, they built a business that was valued at $5.5 million in a city he didn't know anybody. And I thought that was fascinating. I just thought it was fascinating. Like, drop you off in a city with $100 and you can't use your cell phone and your contacts and build a business in 90 days worth $5.5 million through a complete stranger that you didn't even know. So to me, it reminds me that you don't need more money, you need more people, right? The people have the money. And we need to circulate and meet people because that's where our next strategic partnership comes from. That's where, Jason and I were talking about doing this. And I said, man, let me just get on a plane and come down there and meet you in person, right? We could have talked about it for a year. So I'm a person that's like, let's go. Let's get on a plane. Let's move. Let's go meet people. Let me show you versus tell you. And so we have a lot of movement. People of interest have movement. And the fourth thing they have is they have a monetization cycle. Okay. Is they are converting their movement to money in some way. So, Jason, out of those four parts, message, mission, movement, where do you think people struggle the most?
People.
Okay.
Yeah, you've said, ultimately, how are you going to deliver your message is people.
Yeah.
And really, I always say the success formula is activity times conversion times case size. The scaling formula is activity times conversion times case size times number of work weeks, number of people delivering that value proposition that you've created in order to be able to serve clients, whether that's on the insurance space or whatever it is, in order to distribute that what you have built, that unique ability on a multitude of times. And that's the challenge. You need people to do it. So messaging, I think, is important, but the way to get the message out is to have more people delivering the message.
Yeah. So
Um,
when you think about this, I love, and you say this a lot, activity times conversion times case size. Everybody catch that? Okay. That does not come from minimal activity. It comes from lots of activity. I would call that movement.
movement.
Money follows energy. Money follows movement. Money follows circulation. Sales cycle, follow up, conversion. Okay. Now, when you're looking at these people of interest characteristics, where do you think, Craig, let's just call on you, for example, because you sat across from me that night at dinner at Harper's, eating that good food. Where do you think you struggle the most in this person of interest strategy, this advisor of interest?
On the person of interest, I think it's just, I realize that I am a person of interest and I realize I have a skill set. I think it's just being able to articulate it and to figure out how to package it and then
Yes.
how to market it.
Yeah.
So I think where I struggle is, for one, I'm constantly outside my comfort zone now, which I feel is great. Like I feel like if I'm not constantly uncomfortable, then I'm not doing something right. I'm more worried about, I'm thinking of like what platform would I be using would be the best way to get started to deliver the message and how to get known. Like, because here I am. I mean, I get fired up. I don't want to be fired up. I'm
Yeah.
already fired up. I want to be moving and executing. So I'm just trying to move I know I'm kind of bouncing around on you with your question, but I'm trying to move every day. But my deal is on that. Where's a good place to get started, and what platform would be good to deliver that message to get known?
So let's just take the Greatness Lab as an example. Jason, had the idea, concept. We said, okay, we got to bring it to the people. How do we bring it to the people? We got a name, so we need to give it a name, position by concept. Then we need some type of distribution channels. How are we going to distribute this? And we start going, we're going to do coaching, we're going to do events, we're going to do StreamYards, which are like us going back and forth. We're going to do Zoom webinars. We're going to do speaking engagements, right? Now, when we took that concept of the Greatness Lab, and then he's gotten very good at explaining it, what is a Greatness Lab? Now it's a matter of distributing it to the world. So there's got to be a distribution channel. So my first was Facebook. I first went on Facebook. I do morning messages every single day. Then I said, I'm going to do podcasts and I'm going to start putting podcasts out to the world. Then I said, man, I'm going to get on TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn, right? And I'm going to take a message and I'm just going to shove it out to the market with frequency. If you study frequency, it's the number of times something, right? And what happens is people go, okay, I need that dude, or I like that energy, or I want to be part of that. And that's kind of this flywheel of momentum. If you remember, we taught at the Greatness Factory when you were here, the series of actions that we take to drive up the probability in the market of people knowing who we are. So most people don't have a talent problem. They actually have a distribution and marketing problem, or they have a vehicle problem. which is they're in the right.
Exactly. And the one thing also is, as far as putting money into this machine before we get money out,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm always a business guy where I'm trying to, I don't have a scarcity mindset, but I do only, and I know that scared money can't scale, but I do only have limited funds at times. So we could leverage, but should we be overly investing in ourselves to get this message started to, or should we be doing it incrementally as we grow? Because I'm not trying to grow incrementally. I'm trying to make big leaps here. But should I start writing checks on getting myself out there? Like a podcast still costs some money. You can do the YouTube down the street or the videos walking down the street with
Yeah.
no trouble.
Free. It's free.
But
So,
should I be investing
yeah.
more into myself than I have been in the past to get this going? Even obviously not to lose money, but should I be looking?
Well, I have an answer, but I want Jason to answer the question. If he was going back building the brand, okay, because I think I know what he's going to say. I think I know what I'm going to say, but I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear it from his mouth.
Look, 9 years ago, we had no financial advisors. We had temp space and we had a great vision in order to be able to grow and scale the business. That was all we had, was a dream that it would come true, that we would be, at that time, we'd be in our vision was 10 markets, doing 5 million in revenue, having an executive team. It was just like this fictitious looking thing. In the future today, we've got over 750. What I would tell you is it costs no money to recruit other than time. I think it should cost you no money to be able to prospect, because you could always get interns to make calls or very little. And then I would let those people go build your brand for you. So, what a concept that I'm working on right now is millionaire makers. So I want to do this thing, the coach got me creatively thinking about it, but like, all right, I'm going to do this concept called millionaire makers. And I'm going to basically have my own community, and I'm going to staff it with all my 750 financial advisors. And I'm going to have them go put out content every single day while they walk down the street and talk about how they help the client get on their way to make $1 million. Right. So think about Medicare monsters. How much did it take to start that group, Craig? Zero. Right. Then if you have people that you recruit into that concept, let them promote your business, let them push out the content. It's free. And then you start to become the person who can manage and scale that business through recruiting and developing leaders and leadership talent by putting the vision out there. That would be my way of thinking about it. I took on no debt. I took on no investors, and I built a business that is, has done exceptionally well, more than most people will ever do in a lifetime. And it cost me nothing in order to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the same answer with me, is that most people think on terms of return on investment. I want you to think in terms of return on objective. The objective is to become known. The objective is to, right? That's why I always say you don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money.
Yep.
So it doesn't cost me anything to pick up the phone and call people, build partnerships with people, follow up with people, engage with people. It doesn't cost me anything to put on Facebook or even YouTube for that matter. Yes, do I have a marketing team now today? But I didn't in the beginning, right? I had me and a cell phone who would just get out there and walk and just talk and have ideas, and people follow it. And I now invite people to things. So don't overcomplicate it, but ask, what is the objective? Okay. I believe that the objective is to become known. I believe the objective is to build, grow, scale, and exit. And build for exiting versus build for production. So when you take away today this person of interest concept, here's the cool part about it. You can become a person of interest. You can acquire these traits, right? It's not like they're born. It's like you can go get these traits. Okay. I'm coaching 5-year-old kids today, with my son's team. And I'm like, this kid's a little bit more advanced than that kid. And this kid's got a little bit more toughness than that kid. And this kid, I can tell, has not been around socially. He's kind of keeps to himself. But fast forward 15 years ago, I cried every single day I went to Head Start. Every single day I went to Head Start, I cried like a baby, right? Look at me today. It's what I do for a living. So it's not like I was born with these things. It's like I acquired these skills. Okay. And you can acquire the skills of people of interest if you want. Okay, Jason, tell us. This has been a great session, guys. Very engaging, and very thought provoking. These are the types of things we do at the Greatness Lab every month. So, if you're interested in joining, Jason, why don't you close us out by telling people how they can take a next step with us if they're interested in doing strategy call, if they're interested in joining us, bringing their business underneath this business, all those things.
Yeah, first of all, Coach, thank you. This is fantastic. I hope you folks enjoyed it. I would first. I think all of the folks on here are already in
Yep.
the Greatness Lab in terms of the environment. If you'd
Yep.
like to learn more about what we can do for you specifically, whether that's individual coaching, joining our ecosystem, getting an idea about the products and services, or a combination of the three that we can actually help you to grow and scale your business, just send us an email. Go online and request a consultation. We'll have a strategy call with you. We'll tell you about other ways we can do it. If you have a business that you want to roll up, that you know somebody that wants to do that, and you're looking to do some acquisitions, we can help you with that. You want to recruit, train, and develop, we can help you with that. But most importantly, I think what we can do is help you with your coaching. I remember early on listening to Coach and walking away from these things where it was muddy for me. There was like a lot of ideas or discussions, but it was like I didn't know how to pull it all together. That's what Craig's doing. He's like, what do I do right now? What do I do right now? What do I do right now? And Craig will tell you, what do I always tell you first, Craig? What are you going to do first?
Yeah.
You have to recruit.
You're going to do that, for Craig and his goals. It doesn't mean that's for you and your goals, but it starts with putting the
Yeah,
focus
one step at a time.
one step at a time.
Yeah.
And what will happen is over time, after you take that first step, which is getting on a call with us, joining our coaching programs, is it'll all start to come clear as time comes on. And trust me, the journey is amazing, the growth is amazing, and you'll have an amazing interdependence along with the Greatness Lab.
Yeah. And whatever you do, don't stay static. Fight off the inertia to stay the same because you could literally have this conversation 10 years from today. I see people do it all the time who never take an action and they're at the same point 10 years later as they were 10 years ago. And we don't want that to be you, right? Get in an environment, an aspirational environment, guys. Get in a locker room with us, right? You will get coached up and you will get much better, okay? All right, another great coaching session, guys. Make it a
Thanks,
great
guys.
day.
Enjoy. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for showing up today. Appreciate you guys.